Looks like it. Looks like we're live. Yeah, I know I'm late. Sorry about that. Gosh, late. Late Pakistani politics. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. Sorry about that, I was late. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new stream, and that is right, we are live on this beautiful May 2nd. Now it's actually May, wow. I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm having a great day myself, and we are joined by nobody. Wow. Just me today. Just me today, everybody. So, yeah, today we had a lot of big news out of the UK, some economic news looking pretty good. For those that are wondering, I was gone yesterday. I decided to take a day off. Just why not? Nothing, I mean, there's some big stuff that happened, but nothing that really warranted a stream or whatever, so, I decided to take a day off yesterday. So, this time I'm the one who was late. Oh, gosh. Listen, I was late by a little bit. I'm not going to deny that, but I was late. I was late. Alright, so we have a lot to talk about, but before we get into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. These are all great ways to support the daily content, and if you have any questions, concerns, or want to support the channel even further, best way to send in super chats via the chat. Again, read through as much chat as possible, but usually super chats are the best way your questions answered. And actually, hold on. We might have our fan favorite John Rose here. I believe he is here. Say something. Discord.
Hey guys,
Welcome.
hello?
Yeah, it works now. There we
Yes,
go.
yes. Alrighty guys. Yeah, I had to go and get myself a delicious lunch of Bang Energy, but I am here now.
Oh, welcome to the stream, good sir.
Alright.
So, we have a lot to talk about today. A lot of stuff going on with the economy because we had the jobs report that came out today, which looked pretty good. The stock market's looking pretty good. China's about to bend the knee, so a lot of good things happening. A lot of good things happening. Where's Luke? I don't know. I think he's sick. Real Texan, I think he has a exam or something, so yeah. Trump is absolutely cooking. Yeah, so let's start the big news. Well, there's a lot of big news today, but let's start with the jobs report that happened. Trump's economy is actually looking pretty good. So for those that don't know, the jobs report came out for the month of April, and they gained 177,000 jobs. And
Wow.
now, let's be clear, it's not perfect. I think manufacturing went down a little bit, like 1,000. Yeah, so it's not like, everything's perfect or whatever, but the reason that people are celebrating this is, for starters, I'm going to pull this up, Zero Hedge, because he has the graphs on this. Where is it? Yeah, for starters, it looks like Doge is working, because according to this jobs report, the federal government went down for the 4th straight month in jobs. So, we're firing people. We are actually firing people at the federal government. It's gone down by around 8,000 this month. So, let me pull this up. Where are you at? Where is this at? There it is. Okay. There's one more I'm gonna find. The full-time, part-time, and I think there's one more, I think. I gotta find it. American Nerd for 5 wrapped. Did Trump nominate Mike Waltz as UN ambassador, just came out of the White House? If so, why the UN post? Why not some other crappy place? Well, we've been trying to find somebody for the UN post for a while, so it's like, we'll throw you in there. We'll make you the UN ambassador. But yeah, that was the big news yesterday. Mike Waltz is gone. Now, he resigned, but he was forced out. He was forced out.
Right, yeah.
I mean,
I think we can all agree he was forced out. And look, I love the vice president. He went on Brett Baier and said that this wasn't what we were saying it was. That he should be better suited at
oh yeah,
there. But not
sure.
look. We can't be brown nosers to the extent that we just like can't see the obvious. This happened because Mike Waltz screwed up and they didn't trust him in that role anymore. And my speculation has just generally been, Mike Waltz seems like a team player. Put him somewhere where he's not in those chats anymore.
Yeah.
But he still has kind of a role in the admin, and and like I said, I speculated the reason for that was because they would rather do that to friends and what they assume are loyal people than have some Democrat buy them out for $3 million and then they write a book that says nasty things about Trump.
But that's a problem. That's what happens first term. You find all these bad people, and what they do is just turn around and make a shitty book like, oh, Donald Trump's a dictator. He watches the Gorilla Channel for 24 hours. I mean, that's a push they crap. That's crap they pushed in like 2017 and stuff. So that's why Trump
Yeah.
decided to just give him this post. I mean, no one wants it. So
No one wants it. We were going to give it to a congresswoman, but we just, it's too narrow of a majority. And if Mike Waltz's whole shebang, which I've read more about it, and it does seem like it was a matter of incompetence rather than malice, then yeah, just give him something that doesn't matter, and just keep going.
yeah.
Not saying that ambassador to UN doesn't matter, but it matters way less than an SA.
Honestly, it doesn't matter because it's just whatever Trump says, that's what's gonna happen. The UN ambassador.
Well, and whoever's
just,
like,
yeah,
yeah, like, and whoever's like heading the UN usually like does what we want anyway, so
yeah.
it's like whatever.
American Nerd for 2. Why have a UN ambassador? Just withdraw from it. Yeah, but you just be a part of it. Why not? We fund it anyways, so. Mike for 2. The admin does not want to be seen divided. Yeah, that's part of it. That's why they didn't just say, oh yeah, he's gone. But no, he actually got, relegated or whatever.
Well, like the really sinister part of this is like, it's all like blood in the water sharks kind of deal. And it's not even with leftists. Like I said, with that Brett Baer interview, he basically went from, okay, was this about Signalgate? And then the next question out of his mouth was, are you going to fire Pete Hegseth? Please fire Pete Hegseth. Are you going to fire Pete Hegseth? Like, this is just ridiculous. You can't, this is part of the reason why it's just bad optics to just straight up fire him. It's because these people are looking for blood. You can't give them what they want.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's why they didn't just fire him, because for starters, they did not want a bad book deal again. They don't want him going around saying, oh yeah, Donald Trump is a wife beater or something, he's a horrible person. That's what they don't want. But yeah, American Nerd for 3. Who should be the new NSA? Joe Kent, maybe. I've heard Stephen Miller, but I don't want that. I want Miller to stay in his post, but we'll see.
Well, yeah, it's really funny because an Axios article came out. Stephen Miller expressed interest in the post. Another source claimed that, well, if it takes him too far away from immigration, he wouldn't be happy with that. I mean, and who's to say that Stephen Miller couldn't do both? We have Marco Rubio doing 5 jobs right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a meme right now. It's like Marco Rubio, by 2028, we have be everything. Be the vice president, secretary of state. I mean, he has like, what, 5 posts now? Because he has the...
Yeah.
Now he's NSA right now, which is funny. But it was
he's
like...
acting director of USAID,
yep.
and then Secretary of State, and then like 2 other things.
Wasn't he the archivist or something crazy? Like, someone got that post.
Yeah.
Great. Michael Flint, that I don't know anymore, but that'll be kind of funny. I don't think he gets the votes, but we'll see. We shall see. K-Cup for 2. Didn't we meet Big Balls this week too? Big news. I didn't really see. I heard something about it, but I didn't really see it. Let's see. Rubio has like 5 jobs and he's thriving at all of them. Well, yeah, he's done a great job. Rubio has been the surprise in this administration. He's done a damn good job. So, Rubio's the final boss of employment. Yeah. But other news, so, speaking of the jobs report, I finally found the graph. So, in my opinion, the biggest part of this jobs report is who's gaining these new jobs.
Right.
Because everyone knows for the last couple of years, it's been government jobs and it's been a bunch of foreign-born workers. Like, the native-born workers have gained nothing. The last, like, I think since 2019, was it? Yeah, it was before COVID, I think, that they actually gained jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
right.
Now, the new jobs report, according to the report, foreign-born workers went down 400,000 jobs. Native-born workers went up 1 million. So, these jobs are not going to foreign-born workers that make 5 cents an hour. No, it's actually going to native-born workers, and they're getting paid good. So, that's why this jobs report's good. It's not just they gain more jobs, it's who's gaining them. It's American citizens. And, by the looks of it, it's actually full-time jobs also. I think I got it right here. Yeah, right here. According to this, full-time jobs surged in the month of April. So, this is why it's good. It's not perfect because manufacturing went down, but government jobs went down. Just the jobs report as a whole is a good indicator because everyone was saying that the month of April was going to be a bloodbath. Remember that? It's the start of a recession. Remember? I remember that well. Just 2 weeks ago, everyone was saying there was going to be 20% unemployment. The economy would go down by 50%. We would have sky-high inflation. Has any of that happened as of now? Even remotely close?
No.
So, yeah. Turns out the people that were wrong about everything should not be listened to. Wow, what a surprise. The experts, everybody. Black Monday. Oh, I remember that! I think that was that Kramer that said that? It was gonna be Black Monday, and then, like, the stock market went up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Government jobs went up 10,000. No, it actually went down. Let me pull this up. Yeah. Yeah, the fourth consecutive month, federal government workers went down. The monthly change was roughly 8,500 in the month of April. So, again, Doge is not as big as I wanted it to be, but we'll get to that in a second because we had some news out of the budget proposal. But point is, it's working. It's not as much as we wanted, but it's slowing it down just a little bit. So, anyways, talk about Germany sliding further into madness. Oh yeah, I think they banned AFD or something now. They just said, "Oh, you're
So
okay."
AFD is not banned, but what's happening with AFD is that they have designated it an extremist organization, essentially. And what that means in substantive terms is that they can basically spy on them
Oh,
almost as if they're like a foreign terrorist organization.
wow.
Um, yeah, so it's supposed to provide more accountability, but as you all probably know, it's meant to try and make sure that their downfall can be precipitated by the people in power currently in Germany because they're the most popular party in Germany right now, and that's why this is happening. So yeah, no, it's a terrible thing. It is a terrible thing, and anybody that supports democracy and then doesn't say anything about this, well, you know what democracy actually means to them. It means leftist values. It means
Yeah.
liberal crap. It means oligarchy by technocratic oligarchy. That's all it means. It doesn't mean anything to do with what the word democracy means.
Oh my gosh. More accountability equals more bullshit. Yeah, I mean that's what it is. I mean, like,
Yeah,
how could you call the AFD an extremist group? Like, isn't the leader like a lesbian or something?
she's a lesbian. Like there have been like some kind of naughty backroom,
Oh
and I
yeah,
don't mean
there's
naughty in like they've said some stuff in back
yeah, there's
rooms
some schizophrenics
that
in that
was.
party.
But no, like the general policies of the party, the front-facing aspect of the party, there's nothing wrong. And it's like, you know, if we were trying to like, do an apples to apples comparison, you go in the CDU, CSU, I'm sure you would find similar scandals if you were recording all of their conversations and back doors. So that's that. I think that there's just an incredible double standard that the German people recognize, and uh, I'm hoping it just makes them more popular, honestly, in spite of everything. So.
All right, American Nerd for two. Just give all the Fed jobs to Rubio. At this point, sure. Just yeah, give him everything. Why not? I mean, I didn't think that was allowed. That he could just have all those positions, but I guess it is. He just be everything now.
No.
Let's see. Anthony minimum for 5. If Trump's big beautiful bill passes, the next logical step would be to get America back on the gold standard. And in which I would agree with, but it's never going to happen. But speaking of the bill, the proposal came out, I think. Let me pull this up. Budget proposal. I think it was who reported it first, I wonder. Let me find it. So, yeah, apparently the proposal by Trump is a 20% cut on everything but defense and DHS. That's what it sounds like. Yeah. So they're going to slash non-defense spending by over 20% and increase funding for DHS and defense. Which, listen, I'm not a big fan of defense spending. I think it's too much, but, it looks like we're getting cuts. A 20% cut. Gosh, how much money is that? I mean, because that's only discretionary, so, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I would say with the defense stuff, it's a problem of having to deal with the Republicans. Like,
Yeah,
you
that's fair.
know, whether you're Republican or Democrat, there's somebody they've got their hands in somebody's pockets, and with with establishment Republicans, it's a lot
Right.
of military industrial complex. So Trump himself actually wants to reduce the military defense budget if he can get China and Russia to agree.
Oh yeah,
But
I remember that. It was like a deal back in
yeah,
February. You cut your spending in half, we cut our spending in half or something.
That it would be a wonderful thing, but he's going to get a lot of pushback from Congress because those people get all their kickbacks from the people making the military equipment. So,
All right, American Nerd for 3. Germany banning parties. That sounds familiar. Yeah, I mean, like, it's always Germany that does this. Always the Germans for whatever reason. What a joke. What a freaking joke. I mean, seriously, why? Just because what? They want to have slightly less immigration? That's what makes them extreme now? Wow. What a freaking joke. What's this about Fetterman? Fetterman. So apparently, Democrats are going to force Fetterman out, by the sounds of it. Wait, what? Let me read this.
the New York Mad put out a hit piece on Fetterman, it looks like. And
Holy shit, they're
they're
gonna force him out.
well, yeah, a lot of people are saying that this is a hit piece being done for the purpose of trying to push him out. They don't like Fetterman being there. They see him as an obstacle. And Jarvis, if you guys know Jarvis on X, he's saying that this was orchestrated by his diabolical camera-thirsty devil wife. So that's
Wait, what?
that's
Oh.
yeah. Here, I'll put it in the.
Wait, send me this. What?
Yeah. It's a Jarvis on X. He's a pretty big account.
Oh, I know. Yeah, Jarvis. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, so I finished my exam and it started raining, so
Welcome, good sir. But yeah,
Yes.
so it looks like they're trying to force Fetterman out right now.
I gotta do what?
They're forcing Fetterman out.
What the hell are they
Democrats
doing?
trying to get rid of him.
Like right now?
Yeah, so the New York Mag, which is just a shitty news outlet, but Democrats love it, they have a hit piece on Fetterman right now. And they're basically saying that he's mentally unstable and he's like retarded or something. Yeah.
So we have some people saying that it's why his wife seeking attention. We have other people like John Levine here saying it is because Fetterman supports Israel, that they want him out of the party.
Let's see. Later, still visibly upset, Giselle pulled the staffer aside. She asked him if members of Fetterman's team were pushing him to take these stances for political reasons. The staffer told her that the opposite was true. Many of them were upset as she was. If you're pushing back on this, there's no hope. The staffer recalled her saying, "This is horrible news." A few days later, I'm at a breaking point, and I can't co-sign this any longer. I'd love some help in the language to separate myself from this. Can anyone help me? So, yeah, this story's a hit piece. His wife is doing this. I don't know why, but... His wife is involved? I don't freaking know. It's a mess. This story is a mess. So, do they force him out by 2026? That's a real question.
I would think that would be the goal. I guess maybe they're trying, if they're not trying to like get him recalled or whatever by it, which would be really strange because his governor's Josh Shapiro, right?
Yeah.
So I guess they would be hoping to primary him. Maybe that's the hope.
You're gonna lose
I don't
because
know.
John Fetterman's one of the few Democrats who can win statewide. Why?
Well, yeah, and that's the even more confusing thing to me. It's like, why do his hit piece now? Because his primary is not going to be till 28, right?
Yeah, 28.
So I'm just this whole thing is
they're probably
deeply
hoping for a
confusing.
story big enough to where he would be forced to resign.
That's what they're pushing for, I think. They're trying to get him out of there. They're trying to get him out of there.
Now, I will say, Democrats would be favored in a special election if it were to take place next year.
Wait,
so,
what?
I mean, Democrats would probably be favored in a special election to replace him if it's held next year, especially with Shapiro on the ballot.
Like, the thing is, though, who's gonna run?
Connor Lamb.
Oh my gosh, again?
That's who they want.
I thought they hated him 5 minutes ago. I thought it was too moderate.
Well,
Whatever.
evidently Fetterman was the moderate one, so...
American Nerd for 2. Force him out of his seat or the Democrat Party. I think both. They want him out for, which is stupid.
Like they just want to make him crash and burn, I think.
Why? Because, like, you know what's gonna happen in 2028, right? If they primary him out, he's not gonna support you. What do you think's gonna happen? If he resigns, does a special election happen? So Josh Shapiro would appoint somebody, and then a special would happen. So, probably.
But like, if the Democrat Party causes this scandal around Fetterman and those blue collar workers and purple voters that voted him in 2022 in the first place, how do they expect those same voters to come back and vote for whoever they're trying to replace him with? I'm really confused about that. I'm really confused about that.
I don't get this plan. It's like, you do realize Fetterman's one of the few Democrats that could win right now, right? Surely you understand this. Surely.
I don't know.
Why are Republicans scared of Fetterman? Because he has a weird appeal to Trump voters. That's why. They're like Pittsburgh and stuff. SOVN for 65. Liberal democracy from World War II. World War I is antithetical to Europe, old world instincts. It always becomes a political class above the peasants, but now without our kings. Yeah, that's liberal democracy, everybody. Fetterman is much more liked by everyone in Pennsylvania. I don't know. Oh yeah, if you're saying that's going to hurt Democrats, yeah. I mean, like, he's the only one that has some support with independents in PA.
Well, right, and like, if the independents are people that pay attention and they notice, like, they watch over the course of years what they do to Fetterman, how on earth are you going to convince those same people to vote Democrat?
I don't know. American Nerd for 3. Who wants to bet that David Hogg supports this? Oh, 100%. David Hogg's probably the one that pushed the story. He's probably the one that, like, said, yes, we gotta get rid of him. Are they gonna replace Fetterman with Malcolm Kenyatta? You know, that would be the funniest timeline. They replace him with Malcolm Kenyatta. Go ahead. Go right ahead with that one. For those that don't know, he's the, what is he, the second vice chair of the DNC first? There's like 4 of them. Yeah, there's 3 idiots. He's like the second one. And he's from Pennsylvania. He's a nut job. And he's ran for Senate like 3 times. What if they give him the spot? Please do it. Please.
Malcolm Kenyatta.
Yeah. They gotta give it to him. Why not? Chance raising for 2. You see the voter registration numbers in Iowa, so much for blue Iowa. Yeah, I'll have a video on that later today. On the voter registration stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's looking bad for Dems. And wasn't this supposed to be like the worst month ever for the GOP? Considering the trade stuff, and they just went up in voter registration. If Malcolm Kenyatta is the nominee, the Senate race is likely Republican. Yeah, for those that don't know, Kenyatta's like literally a schizophrenic. So, yeah, we'll see though. We shall see. If Bob Casey lost in Pennsylvania, imagine what would happen if a leftist lunatic won the nomination. That's what I'm saying. Do you think that if Bob Casey loses, which he lost, I should say, if he's able to lose Pennsylvania, do you think they're going to vote for a progressive? You think those voters in, like, Pittsburgh are going to vote progressive? I don't think so. But anyways, so, speaking of that, there were some pretty big elections last night in the UK, and I want to talk about this. For those that don't know, there was, what's it called? Council elections, right?
Yeah, like local council seats. So yeah, basically local elections.
Basically, this is like the midterms in the UK, right? This is like the best way to put it. It's like the midterms. And not all results are in yet, because they have a freaking, that's UK for you. Well, right now, Reform had the biggest surge by a country mile. According to Politics UK, I'm gonna make sure there's no other updates. Let's see. Yeah, so based on the last updates, Reform gained 548 seats. They're now the biggest party in the UK right now. And funny enough, the second biggest party is the Liberal Democrats. I don't know how that happened, but
they are the biggest party in the country with the most local council seats. Only have 5 MP seats.
Yeah. I mean, like, this is gonna get bad for everybody. I think Reform's gonna kill everybody next election.
Well, Well, I think they are, and I'm not going to comment on how that affects UK in general, but I do want you to note something about this graph. Lib Dems, which are kind of the more further-reaching left party, besides Labour, they gained 122 seats, and so
Yeah.
what you see is the Conservatives massively rejected. The Conservatives lost 536 seats. Conservative Party has been wholesale rejected by the British people. They had 15 years to try and fix the country. They never did. They betrayed every promise they made to their voters. They're done.
Yeah.
Labor lost 148 seats. And so you see this big thing where, you know, these European systems, they do have very much center biased kind of systems, but the center is being rejected right now in British politics. The center is being rejected. The Lib Dems are going up. The Reform is going up. And what will come of that, I can't tell you for sure. But what I can say is that the British people are sick and tired of how the country is being run by both
Wow,
mainstream parties.
you're telling me people get sick of centrism when they do nothing? Wow, what a
No,
surprise!
they are dead sick of it. They have been betrayed by Labor and they've been betrayed by conservatives, and they don't even care. They will vote whoever else shows up,
Yeah,
and it's Reform
if
right now.
somebody has a pulse or vote for you because at least it's something different. Right now, it's just like, oh, Labor's be shitty, or the conservatives are shitty. Pick your poison. Good, a good job for everybody. Great. And the funny thing about this is people are saying like, oh, this is actually bad news for Reform. This is actually horrible
How?
news.
How?
They were claiming because, oh no, these are just conservative voters voting Reform. That's their argument. And they're saying, no, actually, the Reform's actually in a bad situation. They were expected to do better than this. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm not even kidding, by the way. Look it up on you. Look up like UK election on Twitter, and like half the people that are like on the left are saying, no, this is actually a bad thing. It's a bunch of copium. All right. Let's see. American Nerd for 2. Farage knows what he's doing. Trust the UK plan. Again, Farage is great, but I don't know. But yeah, so right now there are people that actually claim that this is actually good news for the for like Labor. I mean, Labor right now is in 5th place. I mean, has this ever happened before? Where the two major parties are not even the two biggest parties? Like, in terms of seats?
I don't know British electoral history well enough to tell you. I do know, like, it seems like no matter what, Tories have always been there, regardless of who is like opposing them. But probably very unprecedented for the modern age of politics.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's just utter insanity that Reform is doing this good. I mean, Reform, and they're making it sound like, again, the same people on Twitter, like, they're saying it's actually good news for the Labor. It's like, oh, these are just conservatives. That's their cope. It's just all the conservatives voting Reform, which is not true, by the way. I mean, they're freaking winning these deep Labor seats by like 30 points or whatever. So it's not just, some conservatives voting. No. It's a bunch of Labor voters voting Reform. A lot of them are voting Liberal Democrat also, but yeah. American Nerd for 3. Too bad Canada does have a party like UK Reform. I mean, their closest option was PPC, but they suck. So, yeah.
I do want to bring up about the Alberta Prosperity Project. So Danielle Smith, the Premier of Alberta, lowered the standard required for them to have a referendum
Oh, I
on
heard about
secession
that.
from Canada. And so she brought it down from like 600,000 signatures to 170,000 signatures. And the Alberta Prosperity Project is like the primary organization that seems determined to collect these signatures, but they're waiting to get the like 170,000 registrations to actually start collecting signatures because they only have, I think it's like 3 months to collect signatures, 3 or 4 months. Well, I was wanting to bring up, I don't know if I brought this up earlier, but at the start of the week, they were at 80,000 registers. As of today, I'm looking at it right now, they're at 133,000 registers. So they are less than 40,000 like registers away from collecting signatures. And if they collect the signatures, then that would trigger a referendum vote in Alberta where they would become an independent state. So yeah, no, this is I would say this is as big as the Quebec secession movement, except the Quebec had problems that Alberta doesn't. So it's a very interesting thing. I'm going to continue monitoring it.
I think Alberta's gonna get out of there. They're done. What's the
I hope so.
incentive? What's their
Well,
incentive in
I
staying?
think polling has showed that Alberta doesn't even really want it. So,
What?
I mean, it could grow, but I doubt they're going to get independence. I seriously doubt it.
I call bullshit. Like, that one guy posted that poll, like, oh, it's 80% are against it. It's like, literally the second they lost the election, like, or the Conservatives lost it by a little bit, you saw what happened. Like, everyone signed the petition overnight.
They did early election polling in Alberta. It was like a couple months before these elections we had at the start of the week. And it showed that there was about roughly a 40% interest in and it was divided between very much want to and somewhat want to, right? But about 40% of the people in the polling in Alberta said, yeah, let's look at secession. And 20% of those people in a separate question were interested in US statehood. So statehood is way less popular than just being an independent state for Alberta, but 40% is not a number to scoff at, especially if it happened before the election. Because you can imagine that number is going to shoot up. Now, I remember someone saying it's like the time you have to start caring about an opinion poll is once like a movement reaches above a 20% threshold. Because once it's reached 20%, it can build a lot more momentum than it could before that point. And that's based off of like a few different psychological studies of like politics in various countries. But yeah, basically, no, it's not something to scoff at. It's not something to be dismissive about. I'm not saying it's going to happen. What could happen though is Danielle Smith continues pushing this and even does the referendum vote, and this is used as leverage by the Albertan government to get concessions from Ottawa, because Ottawa really does treat Alberta poorly. They simultaneously, suck off the teat of their economy while stifling the very things that make their economy function.
Yeah.
So it's a really rough deal for Alberta, and it hasn't stopped being a rough deal for a long time. It's, someone pointed out there's like comics going back about a century ago, 1920s, 1930s, where Albertans are complaining about being abused by Ottawa. So it's not something that they've had, it's not a new sentiment. It's a very old sentiment that has achieved strong popularity after 4 elected terms of liberal hogwash. So we're going to keep looking at that. I'm very interested in what happens.
All right. American Nerve for 5. Rap. What would happen if Kier decides to pull a Macron and call for an early general election within the year or so? I bet reform would crush them. They're not going to. What happened in France was they freaking made a deal with the communists, and they realized, oh, wait a minute, these people are legitimately crazy. So blew up in their face. So Object Clay's Cater for 5. Reform was pulling to come in close second in seat count for this election. This a massive overperformance makes you curious about the next general. Yeah, I mean, they're expected to go, like, I think second. Or I think there's some projections ahead of having a small minority. Or, like, a plurality, I should say. But
Right.
not this. I mean, this is nuts right now. Plus 548.
Again, it's this plus the Lib Dim performance that makes me go, this is a violent and negative reaction to both the Labor government and the Conservatives. It's a violent negative reaction.
All right, K-Cup for 5. Based on John Rose explaining how when something reaches 20%, it picks up momentum, does this explain why Democrats side on the 20-ish side of the 80-20 issues? No, they're just dumbasses.
Well, so before, they've been relying on, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, having control of the media. And so at first, you go in the 60s and you see all these people have extremely fringe issues. And if you go and listen to civil rights activists in the 60s, they are freaking insane people. They were insane all the way back then. But what happened was that their message would get filtered through media, and it would be, they would clean it up. They would purify it, sanitize it for like the average audience. and they would make all of these people who did take the 20 side of 2080 issues look super reasonable. And that is how the media apparatus in the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, basically all the Anglosphere would make these 2080 civil rights issues turn into 60-40 issues or 70-30 issues. And that's how civil rights got passed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. So there is movement. Like people do change their opinions. And the problem is now that they do not have, they think they still have that stranglehold they've had over like public opinion for decades, and they just don't. They don't have it
The
anymore.
only thing they got now
It's
is
gone.
they control boomers. That's the only group of people they control at this point.
The CBC controls boomers, the BBC controls boomers, and ABC, CNN, they control boomers, but everybody else, it's like we just get all our information from the internet. No one cares.
Yeah, just like people watch the alternative media. I mean, like it's like mean, but like seriously, how many more people watch Alex Jones Daily than they do like MSNBC? Like honestly, way more people watch like Alex Jones.
They're watching conservative alt media, but also even the leftists. The sanitized nature of CNN and ABC doesn't satisfy them, so they go to HuffPo, they go to the Jacobin, they go to like all of these far left outlets to get their news because they don't feel like mainstream media is being real enough. So yeah, no, it's just like everybody is abandoning the center.
All right, Pixel Art Productions for 2 Reform picked off a safe labor seat by 6 votes. I saw that. So it's not just conservatives voting. That's bullshit. It's literally a bunch of labor people voting reform. Again, I would say the people that are swinging like against labor, like probably a chunk of them are voting Liberal Democrat. That doesn't explain why reform is sweeping everything. That doesn't explain that.
Though that is insane. I will say I saw several seats, and I didn't like track them. I saw several seats last night that were labor seats that went to reform. It's that's freaking insane. Like if you can even look at the chart of like the tweet that you posted. Labor lost 148 votes. Lib Dems picked up 122 votes. Well, if you do some basic math there, they couldn't all have gone to Lib Dems. Some could have gone to Green, but some definitely went to Reform too.
All right, Chance is raising for 2.
By the way, one more thing. I don't know if you discussed this, but apparently Stephen Miller is the top candidate.
Yeah, we talked about that. I don't think it's him. He does not want the post. I don't think he wants.
What do you think? What do you think? What do you think it's gonna be? Is it gonna be? Is it gonna be that gay guy? I think.
I don't care, honestly.
Well, the main reason why I think Miller might actually take it is because it is a bigger job. He does get more responsibility, and maybe Miller wants to kind of move up in life. Like it's a matter of like, does he want to move up in life, or does he just like want to stay with his treasure, which is immigration?
What's the name of that? What's the name of that? Sorry.
No, go on.
What's the name of that gay guy?
I know you're talking about. I can't think of his name. Chance Razik for 2. The Tories might go extinct by 2029 at this rate. They may go extinct next year. They might be dead in the next couple months. But everybody, we got breaking news. Guys, we have breaking news. I'm sorry to interrupt you. But a report is circulating that China has exempted nearly 25% of all imports from the tariffs.
Yep.
Whoa, I thought China was gonna win this war. They were gonna bend America over. How is that looking? So they just exempted a quarter of all imports.
Well, yeah, no, we were hearing rumblings of this last week, and then I was like, listen, this is why it irritated me so much. I'm gonna put Tyrone on blast. Tyrone was messaging me, and like I had noticed he was probably talking to some people, and he's like, "Well, I've taken this intellectual position. I think Trump should capitulate on everything right now." I'm slandering, by the way. This is total slander, total libel. I'm not libel because it's not in print, but you get what I mean. I'm slandering. Anyways, but he was just like talking to me about this, and I'm like, bro, grow some balls. Because like these people will capitulate. Like China cannot go on like this. They can't. I want Trump to play hardball with these people because they exploit the entire planet. They don't just exploit us. They exploit the entire planet. Like whether you're talking about climate or whether you're talking about trade or whether you're talking about just like general agreements, they lie and cheat and steal, and they need to be put in their place. And we're the only people who can do it. So I just love that Trump did that, and how you see that they cannot absorb the impact of all of this. They have to bend. They have to bend the knee. They have to come to the table, and they are very quietly trying to arrange a trade deal with Donald Trump. They just don't want to publicly announce it.
All right. Play Rude Guy for 2. Hispanics for Trump 2028. Sorry, Vance. This reminded me of, like, the Japanese, like, soldier that was fighting, like, 30 years after the war ended. That's what it reminds me of.
I
Dude,
guess Michael Flynn could be another option.
there's
for
no way he gets
NSA.
the votes. There's no way. So, American Nerd for 2. What's the difference between Labor and Lib Dems? Lib Dems are basically the same, but they support...
More left.
Yeah, they support some electoral reform. That's kind of the main
Rick
difference.
Grinnell, that's the guy. Richard Grinnell.
Oh, Grinnell, yeah.
That's the gay guy. He's probably a front runner, but I don't know.
Billy Bod for 10. I love watching black pillars backtracking and having to eat crow about Trump's tariffs. So tired of them trying to make us all deep throat their stupid takes. Well, now the funny part is, I remember these same people on Twitter. Remember it? I remember like yesterday. They were claiming on April 2nd that the tariffs would cause prices to go up 100% overnight. I remember that. I gotta find the old tweets. They said on day 1, prices will skyrocket by 300%. That's what they were saying. Now they're saying, oh, the impact of the tariffs may not be felt for the next 5 months. These people are full of shit. Every time they say stuff like that, you know they're full of shit. Don't listen.
Well, it's such a convenient timeline. It's such a convenient timeline too, isn't it? Because we expect by the end of July for a lot of this to be wrapped up, and for the tariffs to either be low or be gone.
How convenient! Right when the trade wars end. Yeah. I wonder why they set that date. I wonder why. Anyways.
No, but I just want to say I'm just saying, Dillybod, totally empathize with how you feel is exactly how I feel. That's all I wanted to say. Like that, your super chat is exactly how I have felt for a month.
American Nerd for 3. Tariff/trade wars work. USA, USA, USA. Yeah, it's as if we're the biggest economy. Take out for 2. Someone check on Luke. How is he handling that? I'll
Luke crash out.
Yeah, I'll message him. Steven Howard for 2. Do you think there'll be a China deal soon? Apparently China's sending their advisor here. They're sending like one of their top people.
I think China.
Yeah.
China's too confused. I think it's going to take them probably the longest because they don't want to be the last person in the room, but they're probably going to be because they just do not know how to handle the situation. They just don't.
So Beijing's thinking of dispatching someone by the name of Wan, funny name, and who is a senior leader within the state council's China's cabinet. So they're sending like one of the top people here to meet with Trump. Right. So I think there'll be a deal done soon. Sin Slayer for 5. Do you know they need to make a deal, but they don't want the public to know about it. It also seems like the White House is willing to do that. Well, that's the thing. It's like,
of course,
because if China makes a deal and they admit to their people, yeah, we bent the knee to Trump. You do realize we're talking about China. They would like literally kill President Xi if he ever did that. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, it would make the government deeply unstable. I mean, the way they keep the government stable is by I'm sorry, I'm just gonna be honest. They just murder people.
Yeah.
They just murdered people to keep the government stable. So this would be destabilizing.
People are on vacations, right, in the middle, the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. They're having vacations.
Yes, vacations.
Yeah, sure. Like their bodies are like at the bottom of the ocean. Saiyan Slayer for 2. I meant G. Stupid autocorrect. Well, I mean. Right now, he knows he's screwed. I mean, there's been a bunch of speculation that the people are getting sick of him there. Like, he's, like, killing a bunch of people. Like his top generals, like, disappeared. Like, when the Street War stuff started. Gee, I wonder what happened to them. I wonder what happened. Surely they're alive. Surely. It's pronounced cracking down on descendants in the 5th column. Yeah! That's all they're doing. All they're doing is just making people disappear.
Yeah.
American Nerd for 2. Trump should make rapper John the NSA. Hell no. I would like fire everybody.
National security.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds fun, but I don't know.
I would just fire.
I'll think about it.
Everybody be gone in 5 minutes. SLBN for 65. Pope was trending in Sweden. Checked why. Saw a Stockholm fella calling anyone outside of Stockholm peasants because we paid respect while Protestants lol. Oh gosh. American Nerd for 3. Xi goes missing in the South China Sea after deal. Yeah, that's what he's worried about. He's worried about that happening to him. He's done that to like 20 people the last week. He's worried that's going to happen to him now.
Yeah. And I want to keep people in mind because I've started getting primary feelers that we may have the deal with India done soon, but there may be aspects of it that we dislike. I personally dislike, that you guys dislike. They're talking about, and some of Vance's rhetoric actually makes me think they might be going in a negative direction with it. And what I mean by that is that they're talking about potentially, as part of our deal with India, relaxing H-1B visa restraints on India, which would mean, yeah, it would be a lot more Indians in the country. None of us want that. It would be bad. I would personally consider it a betrayal of things, but I'm still going to try and kind of talk about like what's the trade-off here. Just telling guys, anticipating that, because you might all get angry when it happens. But we kind of have to balance, like, okay, importing H-1B visa worker Indians versus screwing over China. Personally, I'm always going to favor the not importing Indians, but it's still a trade-off, so we're gonna have to talk about it like that if that happens. Just preempting you guys on that. So there might be negative aspects to this.
Trump supports H-1B visas, so
He has. There's been like silent talk about kind of crackdowns on the system and kind of increasing requirements across the board. So like we had been getting room, like lower trimmers of there being kind of a cleanup of H-1B, which we were all liking.
Dillybot for 10. No more old people in politics, and that includes Trump. I don't want him in 2028, even if he's technically has the argument to run again, since he's the 47th president and not the 45th. Well, again, like, I just don't want him to run again. I don't want him to turn the Reagan. I don't want that. Or even Biden. So.
Yeah, by the way, we have some massive breaking news.
Holy shit, yeah, I saw that.
We have a teaser from Scott Jennings.
Scott Jennings is running. He's running.
I'm officially calling on Nate Morris to decline a Senate run and run for Andy Barr's seat in Congress.
If he actually does run, which, again, Scott Jennings outright said that if Trump supports him, he's running. He's running.
Yeah, Trump supports him.
I will 100% back Scott Jennings. I think he's the best option in this race. I'm sorry, Andy Barr sucks. Daniel Cameron, no. Scott Jennings is not perfect, but he's one of the few, like, old school Republicans that has 5 IQ points. So, I support him. I want to support him just because.
He's an old school Republican, and kind of what my hope for it. Maybe I'm being way too optimistic, but like if Scott Jennings gets into the Senate, I'm hoping he just like kind of falls into the MAGA line, and he's just like, well, this isn't exactly what I believe, but this is what the people want, and I'm gonna, vote to represent my people. I would love that if Scott Jennings just kind of fell into line with the MAGA coalition. Like we've got like 12, I think it's like 12 or 13 senators that are actually what we would consider MAGA senators.
Yeah.
I would love just one more person on the team if Scott Jennings was willing to do that.
I mean, and Scott Jennings, like, again, for those that don't know, he's a guy at CNN. He's a guy that has, like, the only one that has 5 IQ points on that network. And he's probably running for Senate in Kentucky. And I support him. I 100% support him. Just for the simple fact that he's going to be somebody that backs Trump's agenda. Again, he may not agree with everything, but he understands, oh, wait, the Republican base, they support Trump's policies. Maybe we
can all bare minimum agree that Scott Jennings would be better than whoever is handpicked by Mitch McConnell to try and take that seat.
Can you imagine Daniel Cameron or Andy Barr? I mean, they're not bad.
Yeah,
they're better than McConnell.
The more I looked into Cameron, I didn't know anything about Cameron, but the more I looked into him, the less I liked him. So yeah, let's just let's put that to bed. Let's just put up Scott Jennings.
He's better than McConnell, but that's not really saying much. So
no, like I'm not even sure he's better than McConnell. Let's just try to get Scott Jennings into that seat.
Let's see. You want meme for 2? CCP is like a Discord server. Yeah, you just ban everybody. Everybody just vanishes. Henry Hooker stand for 2. Vivek would be happy with that trade deal. Oh, he would love it. He would love that trade deal.
Yeah.
K-Cub for 5. President G apologizing to Trump. Happy Gilmore style. I'm stupid. You are smart. I was wrong. You were right. You are the best. I'm the worst. Oh gosh. American Nerd for 2. But we need Jennings at CNN to put idiots in place. Well, the thing with Scott Jennings is he's the only reason people watch CNN now. He's like the only reason people watch or care about CNN. So when he leaves, their ratings are gonna be bad. Like their ratings are gonna tank like 20% overnight the second he leaves, if not like 50%. Because who watches CNN for anything else except for Scott Jennings?
Resist libs.
Yeah, who gives a shit about them?
They watch Adam. They're there to watch Adam Kinzinger pretend to be a Republican.
Oh gosh.
But
Chance Drazik for 5. Jennings is the only Bush-era Republican that owned liberals. Most Bush-style Republicans don't own libs because they're too busy siding with them. Just ask McCain and Romney. Yeah. Only with a freaking
Well, I think
brain.
the difference is that, and this is the big difference you see, when you have a Bush era Republican, McCain Republican, Romney Republican, they go on and they so desperately want to be liked by the people on these major networks. They very desperately want to be liked. They want to be invited to parties. They want to be seen as like the agreeable opposition because they care more about what those people think than what their constituents think. And that's why we hate them.
Yeah.
Jennings openly opposes these people on a daily basis. It's part of his job, but we just prefer that because he actually puts these people in their place. That's why we like him.
Let's see. Cherokee Bear for 2. I'd love to see Scott Jennings versus Joe Walsh. Oh, that would be hilarious. Yeah, I think Joe Walsh would get killed. I mean, who would vote for Joe Walsh? Actually, I know Democrats. Yeah. But I do think Scott Jennings is going to run. I think this confirms it. Now, again, I'm not saying to be perfect. I'm not going to say that because, well, he is. I think he was. Let's see. Yeah, he worked under Bush. So, that's the concern. You could argue he was, he worked with Bush. So.
that argument, that could be a reason why Nate Moore still runs for Senate.
We'll see. We shall see. But I do think he's still going to be he'll be good. I mean, better than McConnell. I mean that's not really saying much, but Scott Jennings at least would be loyal. I mean, he's one of the few guys that actually backs Trump. He goes on CNN defending him every night. So, yeah, I think he'll do good. All right, Rap, did you see what Tom Homan said yesterday when asked why he isn't arresting politicians protecting illegals? Yeah, I wanted to bring this up. Because for those that don't know, Tom Homan, he got asked a question yesterday. I forgot who asked him actually. Dilly Bot for 5. Vance Jennings 2028. No.
No.
Vance Rubio. That's my pick.
No, I don't get too excited, guys. When we are praising someone that's a potential Senate candidate, it doesn't mean that we love them. It means that they might be better than the horrible people that are already there. Just understand there's different standards for different things.
Yeah. I mean, I just like Rubio because he's had a legitimate change of heart.
Oh yeah, no, of course, no.
Yeah.
Rubio, I wasn't paying attention to him, but apparently between 2021 and today, he underwent a massive change, and it apparently started when he visited the prisoners from J6, and I think that changed him, and I think it sent him on a path where he was deeply sympathetic to the MAGA base.
But what it sounds like, it's two things. The January 6th stuff, he realized, oh, wait a minute, we currently have a government, keep our people hostages in these shitty prisons. But apparently what kind of did it, what finally 100% did it, was war in Ukraine. When he was realizing, oh, wait, this foreign policy we're using, it's not working. It's having a bunch of innocents dying on both sides.
A bunch of innocents die, a bunch of people make money in the industrial complex, but nobody has a strategy for how to win. There's no purpose to any of it. You can't even pretend there's a purpose, with some of the Middle Eastern wars. It's just well, we're going to give infinite money so that we can own Russia. And owning Russia is infinite war that never ends. No.
Didn't he initially support aid to Ukraine?
Yes, but then what happened was he realized, first of all, the money was being stolen. It was just vanishing. But then he realized, oh, wait a minute, all these people were dying on both sides. And, you have the European leaders talking about starting World War III with Russia, and they're trying to nuke somebody. And then, they want to get like these insane people in charge of Russia. It's like, wait, what are we trying to accomplish here? Wait a minute.
Yeah. Well, that is what any normal sane person should do when they look at this conflict. They shouldn't think about how evil Russia is. They shouldn't think about poor Ukraine. They should think, what is the goal? What is the goal? And none of these people who spent $300 billion of your money can explain what the goal is.
Yeah.
None of them.
American Nerd for 3. What happened if Massey ran against Jennings? Massey would get no support.
Oh, I hope I would like that because, like, I'm sorry. After Rand Paul put up that vote on the tariffs, I want these people to be humiliated.
Yeah.
I don't hate libertarians. I actually agree with libertarians on a number of issues. I don't want these people to get the satisfaction. They are working with the opposition. They are working against our agenda. They could have come in line. Like, hey, I disagree with tariffs, but I can get so much done with all of you guys on everything else. So why don't we do that? No, instead, Rand Paul wastes his time on a stupid like tariff blocking bill that wouldn't do anything positive for the country. Listen, if you don't like tariffs, you have to understand we're in the middle of trade negotiations with the entire fucking world. And you're going to try and fuck that up? You're going to fuck up all of our leverage in the middle of us negotiating? Go fuck yourself. No. Like, that made me so angry.
We're lucky Mitch McConnell didn't even vote in that bill.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell's like, this is stupid. This is freaking, I'm not going to vote in this. Screw you. It's like, when Mitch McConnell has more brains than Rand Paul does, Rand Paul's a dumbass. I'm sorry.
Rand's got to go. I don't want to say primary him out. I just want him to retire.
He's got to go. He's not Ron Paul. He's not freaking Ron Paul. Ron Paul wouldn't have been that dumb.
He is not Ron Paul.
He would have been that dumb.
I know Ron Paul disagrees with a lot of what Trump is doing right now, but Rand Paul is so much more of a haphazard, like, mess. And again, I'm just saying, it's like, libertarians don't have to like tariffs. I'm not asking any libertarian to like a tariff. I'm asking them to pick sides and realize, wait a second, I am actively working against most of my self-interests by allying myself with Democrats. Let's just, instead of like worrying about tariffs, let's go to all the things that I could be helping with or that I could be influencing. No.
Yeah.
Instead, he just wants to waste his time. And it's anti-American. Like, if he had done this half a year later after all the trade deals are done, he's like, I actually want to get rid of all the other tariffs, I would not be nearly as mad if he did this later. He did this in the middle of our negotiations. Go fuck yourself, Rand Paul.
You notice he didn't say anything when Biden had tariffs? Remember that? Never said a word.
No.
When Biden
Nothing.
increased tariffs on steel and stuff, he never said a word. He didn't say jack shit. But now, we're about to get a trade deal done with China. India's about to make a deal with us. We're just working out the final, details and stuff. And we're about to single-handedly destroy China's economy. They're fucked. I mean, Apple's announced they're out. They're out of China. They're saying we're done. We're done with China. We're making stuff in India. And I think they're making chips in America now. So it's like, we're getting everything we wanted. But now it's, we gotta stop Orange Man now. Why? What do we gain from doing that?
They do nothing to help the image. Like, we've been told, and I've been kind of pushing back against this image. They say, well, libertarians are just useful idiots the opposition uses to harm our agenda. And I've actually pushed back against that. I mean, like, no, they just have these principles and they don't align with everything. No, this is literally affirming everybody who said that. Everybody who says that is being affirmed by Rand Paul's behavior right now. It's just objectively bad for the country.
Let's see here. Henry Hooker standing for 2. Angry John is the best John. I agree. Glitch Evie has been a member for 11 months. American Nerd for 2. Did Rand get dropped as a kid? He's acting like it. He was fine just 5 minutes ago. Before 2024, he was fine. Then he just went off the deep end. I don't know what happened.
Well, it's like, he did an interview with Nick Freitas, and I encourage you guys to go watch his interview with Nick Freitas. And the reason I encourage you to do it is because Nick Freitas tries to ask him, and he says, listen, I want you to steelman your opposition's position and help me understand why you disagree with the strongest version of the counter argument. And instead of being able to steelman his MAGA opposition, Rand Paul just goes into a deranged ramble. And then like about 15 minutes later in the interview, Nick Freitas tries to do it again. He's like, listen, I want to try this. Like, steelman your opposition's like position. Tell me what the MAGA base actually wants, and then tell me why you disagree with it. And then he went even more deranged. And I want people to watch that because I think it shows you how far gone Rand Paul truly is. I really think it does.
What happened? What the hell happened to that guy?
Yeah, honestly, Nate Morris, even if he goes for Congress this year, I mean, maybe he could run for. I don't know. Maybe he could run for Paul's seat, whether if he retires or, I mean, maybe the primary. I don't know if I'd want to say primary, but I don't know.
Just get rid of him. Rand Paul's gotta go. This is pissing me off.
Speaking of Senate primaries, it seems like Catster is supporting MTG.
Oh my! Stop, please! I beg of you.
Because I saw him. Because he commented on Brian Kemp running, and he said he'd be another Mitt Romney.
What?
Yeah, this was yesterday, but
I hate MAGA boomers. I listen. Not all of them are bad, but like Cat Turner of them are just.
and this is in response to a poll that showed Kemp beating John Ossoff.
Yeah,
by the way,
Kemp is winning by like 3 or whatever, and MTG's down by like 20.
And Catcherd's like, if Kemp gets in, he'll just be another Mitt Romney.
What a joke.
So yeah, this guy definitely wants MTG, and so does Gunter Eagleman. By the way, I think Gunter Eagleman was the top reply.
Thank you for the wonderful news, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah,
hold on. Trump wants Big Pharma to shoulder a part of the cost of his tax cuts, and is now asking Congress Republicans to force drug makers to accept lower prices on Medicaid-covered prescriptions. Good. Good. Is that real? Hold on. Trump Big Pharma. I'm gonna pull that up. Trump Big Pharma. Yeah. So Trump is asking. He's telling Congress, listen, Big Pharma has to shoulder part of this cost. He's wanting them to lower their prices. Surely Democrats support this. This is what they supported 5 minutes ago, right? Didn't they support lowering prescription drugs?
When it benefited them.
What?
When it benefited them, yeah.
Yeah, but now it's like, guys, let's be honest with this. How much does it cost to make these prescriptions? Just go look it up. People can look this up. It is incredibly cheap. It costs a couple cents for some of this stuff. Not everything, but it is.
Well, so there's some things where it would be super cheap for us to domestically produce it, and we are literally being ripped off by other countries producing these meds. But there's other things where we just need to do IP reform, and what I mean by that is that and this is a kind of a libertarian view of mine, by the way. I believe that with certain medications that, people have patents on freaking molecule structures and people have patents on like all this other bullshit. Like, let's just tone it down and let's just let people actually make material goods in medicine, specifically medicine, and relieve them of these obligations that patents put on people to like not use the specific form. And like, to just give you an example, that's why I used to have Remicade as a medicine, but at some point your insurance provider doesn't want to pay for it because like the specific patent for Remicade lets them make fuck tons of money, like billions, like way too much money. And I'm not saying it's bad for people to make too much money, but what I'm saying is like I had to go and get off of Remicade and go on to a generic medication that did not help me as well, because one day your insurance provider's like, well, they've jacked up the price too high, I can't do it. And it's just a weird artificial monopoly. Just get rid of this specific aspect of intellectual property. I'm not saying get rid of all intellectual property. We need to protect innovators. But like for medicine, let's just tone it down. Let's like why do people get to patent molecules? I don't get that. Let's just stop that. Let's just stop it, okay?
All right. K-Cup for 2. Isn't Ron Johnson also libertarian, but he's MAGA? Well, he just has a brain. And
Right.
Yeah.
So it's principles versus pragmatism. In the case of many libertarians, they feel as though that their principles matter more than meaningful things being done. And so they're willing to actually hurt the right wing in America if it means that they have stuck to the principles. And that is antithetical to how MAGA works. MAGA is anti-ideology. I'm going to be honest with that. Like Trump is anti-ideology. He's just pro-America, and he'll do whatever he thinks is like in the best interest of America. And that's our position. And we're trying to be as pragmatic as possible and get things done because we have spent decades with nothing getting done. And people are sick and tired of it. Well, a lot of libertarians have not caught on to this, and they're just like, well, I just need to stand by my principles because that's what people vote me into office for. But at the end of the day, what the new wave of voters want is results. They want good consequences. And sometimes if your intent is good, but the consequences are terrible, we don't care. Just get out.
Right.
And that's the difference. That's the difference between Ron Johnson or like a Chip Roy and a Thomas Massey or Rand Paul. It's like these people want to actually do things. Chip Roy and Ron Johnson want to actually do things. Thomas Massey and Rand Paul want to grandstand. That's the difference.
All right,
Obviously, Trump still wants the primary out Chip Roy, but that's beside the point.
we'll see. But that'd be funny if he doesn't.
We'll see. We'll
Um,
see.
Charlie Howard for
Chip Roy's
5.
been more cooperative.
Charlie Howard for 5. I'm a pharmacy tech. We need drug prices lowered. You wouldn't believe some of the prices I see daily. Oh, and dealing with insurance is awful. Oh yeah, there's gonna be that's one position. I would say left leaning. I think just common sense. I just think the healthcare system sucks, and like you got to change it. The current system we got is awful. I don't know how to. Obviously, I'm not saying like, oh, I know everything, but you gotta do something different.
I really think these are two non-left wing changes that would immediately make medicine dramatically better. The one is in reforming intellectual property law around prescription medications, and the second thing is something that we've talked about a lot, which is domestic production. If we do those two things, I think things will get dramatically better quickly.
Oh, looks like another car drove into a crowd in Germany.
New truck of peace?
Yeah, looks like it.
I mean, it's horrible to be that desensitized to it, but how many times has this happened?
It happens every day at this point. And yeah. But anyways, guys, so I want to talk about this because somebody brought this up in chat earlier. I finally found the video. So Tom Homan, he is the Trump's top immigration guy. He got asked a question yesterday about the why not just arrest the leaders who are harboring and shielding illegal aliens from deportation? And Tom Homan said, wait until you see what's coming. So I could say this, all right? This is what I've heard. In the next 30 to 60 days, the arrests are finally happening. That's what I heard.
Oh, I hope. I'm not gonna hold my breath, but that would be so. Oh,
I've heard. I can't confirm this, but what I've heard is there's gonna be a lot of people going down the next couple of weeks. They finally are doing it. And listen, apparently the holdup was they were building up these cases, like actual, like strong cases, these racketeering operations, and
Phil Murphy.
I don't know, but all I heard is there's a lot of next 30 to 60 days. Just buckle your seatbelts, everybody.
Yeah. Now, by the way,
I think what's up?
Yeah, go ahead, John. But I also do have a poll I want to bring up.
No, I was just gonna say, good strategy. Bulletproof cases creates precedent for all the other cases to go well. Go ahead.
Okay, so this was a poll from I believe this was like Wednesday night or something. We didn't go live yesterday. Why was that, Rat? By the way,
What?
Why didn't we go live yesterday? Just out of curiosity.
I had a personal day.
Oh, gotcha. But anyways, so this was a poll from when. I was just wondering because usually it's Thursday we go.
Yeah,
live
I just decided to take a day off.
Gotcha. So there was a poll for Ohio, and obviously Ramaswamy's got the Republican primary in the bag. Not even close. It's not going to be a competitive primary, guys. But that's not the discussion I want to have. The discussion I want to have is with the Democrat primary.
Yeah, what's going
especially
on
the
here?
head-to-head. Especially the head-to-head. Tim Ryan is losing to Amy Acton.
How?
Now, obviously, Acton's running and Ryan is so far not. But I'm just gonna point this out. I honestly, this is probably where the Democratic Party is heading. They are out for blood.
They want everybody gone.
Yeah, they're out for blood. To them, Tim Ryan is this bipartisan moderate. They don't want bipartisan moderates anymore. They want people who are out for blood. Amy Acton is a full-on resist lib that would probably they want people that would throw Republicans in prison with no due process.
Yeah.
They want to throw Donald Trump in prison with no due process. They want to throw you and I in prison with no due process.
And this is why I'm saying, this is why I've been pushing for, like, Pam Bondi do stuff, because we only got a couple years to control everything. And these people are going to throw everybody in jail. The second they take power, they're throwing everybody in jail. So you got to stop them. You got to say, no, we're going to deal with the people that are like insane, threats to society. And that's why the next 30 to 60 days might be a bit long. We'll see. But
even then, like, when Democrats take back the House, or if Democrats take back the House, they're going to spend the entire time impeaching Trump.
They're going to impeach Trump 100, like, every day. New impeachment.
Which, honestly, I will say, if they do that, Republicans could take back the House in 2028. Because Democrats are just going to do nothing but impeach Trump.
American Nerd for 3. I wish Tom Homan was the Homeland Secretary, now know him. So Tom Homan would never get the votes, but he basically controls DHS. He basically controls it. Yeah. So
now, I think this poll had Vivek doing worse against Acton than against Ryan, which I think is bullshit.
But he still wins, which is crazy because it's Ohio polling. For those that don't know, Ohio polling is...
Yeah, it sucks.
It sucks early on.
Also, this poll has Jim Tressel in it, and I think Tim Ryan, for whatever reason, said he would not run if Tressel did.
Which, Ohio State something? Yeah, I don't know.
Probably so. I think because Tressel was like a football coach to him or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Which also probably means that Tressel would be a Rhino, but that's beside the point.
Let's see. Yeah, but I do think, guys, the next 30 to 60 days, there's be some big arrests coming. Like, that's the thing I want to end the stream with. There will be... From the sounds of it, there are people going to jail.
Yeah, and Ohio, your next governor is going to be Vivek Ramaswamy. What do you like?
Wait, I just realized, what if like they start with like smaller arrests early on, but the July 4th on July 4th, what if they arrest everybody?
That's the day of reckoning. That actually, you could also push it back a year. That probably would be even more symbolic.
Maybe
200th birthday. Your 200th birthday.
What I do think is going to happen is they're going to start throwing people in jail.
I don't want to wait too long, but
But I do think
that would be funny.
If it doesn't happen, I'm gonna be furious. But from what I could hear, it's been the next 30 to 60 days. That's when we're gonna start getting these people thrown in jail. Hopefully.
Bondi, don't fuck this up. People have been getting pretty mad at Kash Patel as well, from what I've been hearing.
He can't do much more. He's done a good job. Consider the fact that
it's fake they're mad at him for the stuff that Bondi's not doing.
I don't know. Let's see here. American Nerd for 2.
I know they're mad at Bondi as well, so.
American Nerd for 2. Fire Bondi and make Rubio acting attorney general. He could do it. That's real. Just make him everything.
Make him everything and vice president when Vance takes office.
That's real.
Don't even worry about a cabinet. Just have him be the cabinet.
July 13th.
Rubio's the cabinet.
July 13th. Somebody brought that up in chat. Guys know what happened on July 13th, right? That's when Trump got shot, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Because, listen, if there were some people involved, he would have known by now. Come on, please. Let this be real where everybody gets arrested. I'm hoping for it. Like, you just see on July 13th, like, half of Congress is, like, thrown in jail. We'll see. Liberation Day. Yeah, we'll see.
Honestly, with Phil Murphy, they could just wait till he's out of office because his term is up anyways, so.
I think they're going to start with people like that. They're going to start with, like, those idiots. Never forget July 13th. Yeah, that's when I think that's when she's going to hit the fan. I think July 4th, July 13th, somewhere in that range. That's when a big name's going to go away. Hopefully. We'll see. Anyways. Little Marco evolves into big Marco, have him encompass every department. I agree with that.
He's MAGA Marco now. He's going to be a future VP Marco to you.
That's real. Never forget. Yeah, do this for Corey. Do all this for Corey.
It'll be Corey Comparatori Day. That's
yeah.
what we.
Is that what he's going to declare it? I wonder.
I could see that happening, honestly. Or he'll probably give
like national.
Or it could be like he gives like a posthumous Presidential Medal of Freedom or something.
That and like, or make it like, was he a firefighter?
Yeah, that could be that.
Like a firefighter's like honor day or something like that. I hope he does that.
Maybe. National Firefighters Day, I guess. Yeah. That could be cool.
Yeah. Chat, did I lose you guys for a second? Yeah, we lost stream for a second. We're back. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. My software kind of crashed for a second.
I don't know. Did Stefanix, do you still think Stefanix the right person, though? Because
What?
Do you still think Stefanik's the right person, Bill?
She's our best option, I think.
I mean, she has the best name recognition, but on the other hand, I mean, there's a guy from Nassau,
And
but
she
I
would
feel
help.
like,
I would argue she helps in upstate New York. That's why I'm saying
yeah,
her.
that's probably the thing. Yeah.
All right. But anyways, folks, I think that's it. So this was a very impactful day. So hopefully people start getting arrested. That's what I'm hoping for. Next couple months will be very interesting. I hope everyone had a great. I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. Hope everyone has a great weekend.
I think Westmore also officially declined to run.
Yeah,
which,
he's not
I mean,
running. He realized that he can't win a primary. He just can't.
Also, what's the what do you think about the I don't know if you watched the Trump consent, well, not the graduation speech.
I saw that. You know, I think that vindicates that Trump's popular with young people. That's why Trump's liked by them. I mean, the crowd clearly liked him. They clearly liked him.
He went to the University of Alabama, to be clear.
I
He went to
know,
the
but
University
like,
of Alabama.
even then, it's like they clearly loved him. I know it's Alabama, but still.
Oh wait, did you also talk about the Trump impeachment stuff from Shree?
We talked a little bit about that a couple days ago. The guy is
Weren't there like a couple Democrats that backed out of it?
Yeah, because what happened? He lied. He apparently lied about it. He said, "Oh, I got all leadership involved. They're all supporting this," and it turns out none of them supported it. So
Okay, so who were the three Democrats? Did we finally find out?
no, I've heard nothing.
I don't know. I assume one of them is Cuellar because he's the one that broke with the party on Maryland Man. So
Check the Texas Senate poll. That poll's bullshit, guys. I'm getting sick of these people. He's not losing by freaking 40 or whatever.
I know Red Eagle did a whole video on that, but yeah, that's poll. It's a push poll to get Trump to endorse Cornyn and I guess get the NRSC to get involved in that Cornyn, which I think they are probably going to, but because I think Tim Scott leads the NRSC, so isn't he? Does he? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I think he supports Cornyn, so they're probably gonna back him, but there's still grassroots synergy against Cornyn. I don't know. It's gonna be a very competitive primary, and I think, I mean, Democrats are probably gonna. I think they're still deciding whether to run Allred or Beto. If Beto runs, he's got the primary in the bag, and then they'll probably just run Allred for governor or something, and then that's a whole mess.
Well, everybody, so I think that's it. We're gonna end the stream here. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel. These are all great ways to support the content. We will be back with the streams next Monday. We'll see you guys next stream, video, wherever you see us at.